So bringing together everything with the inventory, there's really one step left. So we've instantiated the inventory when you click the I key and close it when you click the O key, and we've captured what object was dropped by the enemy that gets stored in the inventory variables. What we have not done is we haven't put the inventory variables stored into the inventory objects. So here's the inventory objects. They have the bring to top script on them. So if we go to bring to top, all that's here is for the other text items. We don't have anything in here setting their values. So we have the inventory values here, the inventory slot 1, slot 2, slot 3, they get a value. Now we have to take this slot, this value, and make it correspond to the 3 inventory items. So let's just check the names, just INV1. So since it's instantiated, we are going to need to, oh, I know why. It's got to be inside this. Since it's instantiated, we're going to have to append the word clone. So GameObject.name is equal to INV1. Then get component, text mesh, is equal to battleflow dot inventory slot 1. And we're actually going to make a tweak to that in a minute. I want to get this basic logic in place first. So I just copy and pasted. So pretty straightforward. If the object name is inventory 1, then the text that should display is what's in inventory slot 1, which has in turn been set to be the name of enemy item, which we reviewed here. Same thing for inventory 2, inventory slot 2. For inventory 3, inventory slot 3. Now, what we're going to do is, as we said, we want this to also have the ability to stack. So we have to put a plus sign, we'll put a couple spaces, then a lowercase x, another space, and then another parenthesis, another quotation mark. Sorry, I think I might have said parenthesis there, so quotation mark. And then another plus sign, and then one more variable, battleflow dot inventory slot total 1. So inventory item 1, it will display the text of whatever is inventory slot 1 plus this constant, the spaces in the letter X, and then this value. And the reason for that is because it's going to be red essence times 2, red essence times 3 times 4, because that's what we did back here. We said that the inventory slot will be increased. By doing that, it allows you to stack the the item. Now we'll just take this and we'll add it to the others. Could have done that at first, but I kind of wanted to break down the two separate logics. One is just the displaying of the name, and then the displaying of the value. Then we just have to always make sure you do that. If you copy and paste, make sure you actually make all the necessary changes. As you've seen many times, I do not. So, building on this, let's add one more thing, because what's going to happen is if everything is empty, this is still going to happen. So we're still going to get the times and 0. So it's going to be just a blank space and times and 0. So let's add an additional condition in here. So we're going to say object if let's check the variable itself. So if battleflow dot inventory slot 1 not equal to, like we saw before, you can use an exclamation point to say something is not true. So in this case, it's exclamation point equal, not equal. And we originally set those to blank. So if it's so what we've done now is we're saying if the name of the object is inventory1 or inv1 and inventory slot 1 variable is not equal to blank, then go ahead and say what's in inventory slot 1, because otherwise this at the beginning of the game this is blank, and so you'd have a blank spot and then it would say times 0. Kind of really not great information being provided to the player like that. Now the other thing that we have to do is we're going to have to make a change here, because this just looks to see if it's empty. If it's empty, then it'll fill it. So this really doesn't allow for stacking yet. But let's run it first. Make sure what we've got works so far. Actually, let's check inventory. Okay, it says empty. It's fine. Close it. We get a green essence. Green essence times 1, but it is multiplying for some reason, and the window is too small. But we could either change the size of the text or the size of the window. So what we want to do is, before we check to see if the slot is empty, we want to see if the slot is already filled with something. And once it's filled, we need to say don't fill the other slots. So we've got a couple of things we need to do here. So if battleflow dot inventory slot 1 is equal to battleflow dot enemy item. So see, what we're doing here is we're saying if the enemy item is already stored in that slot, then what we're going to do is we're going to just increase the number by 1 rather than putting it into another slot. So flow dot inventory slot 1 total plus or equal 1. And we're going to do that with all 3. So actually, if we set this up as an else, then it won't keep doing that. Because with an else, it won't find both conditions to be true. It'll find this one true, or this one true, or the next one true. And that's one of the problems that we had with this original sequence, is they could all be true, and so it populated all 3 of them. So inventory slot 1, inventory slot 1 total should be increased. Inventory slot 2, inventory slot 2 should be increased. Inventory slot 3, then total 3 should be increased. And again, since they're else statements, it can't find them all to be true. It will only find one of them to be true, if any. So first, we're saying, do we already have this item? If so, then stack. So that's what you just did. We just added the ability to stack. Now, it's possible, such as after your first battle, none of these are going to be true. And so that's when you then come to this part. And I think we're just going to do exactly the same thing. That just an else statement will fix it. Rather than coming up with another variable that says, alright, you've already received this object, so you no longer have to receive this object, just do an else. So again, rather than having 3 independent statements that could be true, because all 3 slots are empty at the beginning of the game, instead, it's only going to find it to be true once. Let's see. That actually got an error. I can tell already when it talks about converting one to another, in this case string to Boolean, always means I missed the second equal sign. And it's at 164.25. This should also be part of an else. So all the inventory checks now. Inventory, there's the red essence, close inventory, green essence, open the inventory, here we go, red and green, close inventory, and another green. So now it should say green times 2, but it should not be in the 3rd slot. It should still be in that middle slot only. If it is, then that fixed it. And sure enough, there we go. It is working. Just got to tweak the size of the window. And let's do that.